Well, it says we're live, so here we go. Welcome from the crossroads of America to Shooting with Disabilities. We're talking guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience, either in the chat or by email at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I have I know I got a YouTube page. That's what you're on. I got a Patreon page if anybody's interested, and there's a whole bunch of things down in the info section there if anybody's interested. So you can see I'm showing a lot of enthusiasm. And if anybody's got any topics for this show, either email me with them and I can bring them up as topics for the guys. Even this show or Saturdays would be helpful. I would appreciate it. And also, let me go. Anyway, let me see who's in the chat at the moment. Who's made it in here? First was Squiblift, then Gun Loving Grandpa, Jason Stewart, Rich White. Who else we got in here? Squibload made it into the chat. Unknown user. Sabrina's here. 2 Live Moves here. Southpaw RX is here. So that's who we got in the chat so far. Everybody be thinking while we're doing that, I'll introduce my panel here. Up here, I got New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Hope everybody's having a good day, and thanks for joining us.
All right. The next is Will and Well Armed. How you doing?
Doing real good. Thanks, Rick, for having me.
No problem. Then we got Jason Stewart. How you doing? Hit the mute button, Jason. Has he walked off on me? All right. We'll get back to him. Then we got Blind Shooter from good old New York.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, Rick.
All right. Then we got Squibload.
Hey, Rick. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. And now, according to my screen here, I got 2 Jason Stewarts in the room here.
Hi, Rick. Thanks for the invite. How you doing this evening?
No problem. Yeah, I'm showing 2 Jason Stewarts on my screen here in the room.
Yeah, I just got disconnected and hopped back on.
Oh, okay. So one of them would disappear eventually. So did I get everybody? Yep, I believe I did. Okay. All right. Actually, as a topic, I was thinking of, I don't know if we talked about it. We talk about it every summer. But I don't know about where you guys are, but damn, it's hot here in Indiana. We've been up in the 90s, and that's hot and humid. So my question is, people, I mean, because I don't know, maybe because it's, I'm a big guy, so I feel it more maybe, is that, but how do you handle the heat, the summer heat down at the range? You know, well, with me, I tried to go earlier in the morning. Now, as I told everybody, the range I use, I'm the only. So far, I've never seen anybody down there at all when I've been. So, and I have a key to open the gate to get in. And I'll go early in the morning. Why? There's, you know, it's a bit cooler. I take water with me to drink, you know, for I can stay hydrated. And I don't move around fast anyway, but I sort of try not to get myself all in a heavy-duty sweat there with sweat pouring off me, you know, the guns slipping out of my hands and that kind of stuff. So I just take things a lot slower pace. I try, and also in the summertime, I'm the only one there, but if you go, I'm trying to think it in my mind's eye here. If I go to the left side of the concrete where you shoot, there's woods there, so you got shade from the trees. Normally, any other time of the year, like in the winter, I'll be on the right-hand side because it's closer to the truck, you know, and that kind of stuff. But normally when it's hot, I'll move over to the left where I got shade so I can stay a bit cooler. That's what I do in the summertime. So what about you? Do you do anything special, New York Outcast?
It kind of depends. thankfully, where I shoot is kind of on a hillside, so the wind, there's usually a breeze going on there, so that's pretty helpful. And it's under a tree canopy, so that kind of keeps you out of direct sunlight, which is a good thing and bad thing, because it gets a little darker. It'll be dark there, and by the time you make it down the road, it's still heading to dark in a sense. But so my main thing is bugs and comfort, unfortunately. Try to wear comfortable clothes, but usually normal clothes that I'm going to, have to, like a shirt I would normally wear. So I got to clear it to grab my gun. So I do
that's what I forgot. I do spray myself down with bug spray too.
Yeah. So that somewhat helps, but and I think I always bring a drink, whether I need it or not. It's like a 3-mile trip off normal roads for me to get where I go. So if anything's to happen or I get stuck or whatever, whoever's going has a drink. Always bring a first aid kit. Actually, I got 2 on one small one clipped to my bag, a bigger one in it with tourniquet. Actually 2 in there. So basically some basic survival gear in case I got stuck and had to hike out or hike over the mountain. So.
I tell you, you're going to go down there one time out in the middle of nowhere where your range is, and you're going to find a still there or something.
Yeah, maybe. Or I'd be more likely to find a heaping pile of garbage because some of the locals, took it upon themselves to walk a little further and uphill and found my spot, but hopefully not.
Yeah. What about you, Will and Well Armed? Do you do anything to keep yourself cool if you're down the range?
Yeah, I'm a quadriplegic and I don't sweat a drop, so the heat really hits me hard. So I take a spray bottle, and then I also get those towels that are cold, and you wet them and pop them, and they get about 10 degrees colder than the ambient air.
Yeah.
And I put that on my neck, and I'm just bathing in water, just squirt myself with the spray bottle. It's a little mister with a fan. I got one of those too. So my brother has a defunct gold mine in Alabama. And it's just right across the Georgia state line. So it's near what's the racetrack in Talladega? It's right below the Talladega racetrack. And,
did you say gold mine?
Yeah, they set up this
gold mines then.
Oh no, there's gold in the Appalachians, just not as much as in the Rockies.
Okay.
Yeah, the first gold mine was in Dahlonega, Georgia, but this is at the very tip of the Appalachian mountain.
I know where you're at. Yep.
And anyway, there was never gold there. It was all a scam, but they built that place up and spent lots of money and sold 50-cent stock in it. And so he's got like a 4-foot well that's 200 feet deep, and he could pull out like 600 gallons a minute. I mean, it's crazy. The pump he's got on that. It's really meant for gold mining, to impress people that they are gold mining, but there was never an ounce of gold on the whole property.
All right. Let's call it unknown user in the chat said, in years past, I used to relish the heat. It made my pain ease off. It does mine too, believe it or not. The heat does. Would even go out and sit in my car in July as a makeshift sauna. Nowadays, I can't catch my breath in the heat. Yeah, well, I'm having that problem too, but the only reason I'm having that problem got nothing to do with my heart or anything. It's got to do with my size. I went actually talking about that just slightly off topic before we go on to the next person. I went and saw my doctor had made an appointment with a dietitian for me, a diabetic dietitian, believe it or not, and she gave me some good ideas. And she didn't actually, which I like, she didn't say you can only have 2,000 calories a day. She said, you're a big guy. I can't. She said, if I told you only eat 2,000 calories a day, she said, you might last a day on that diet. And you're going to say, screw me and go back to the way you are. So basically, she gave me some ideas what to do. Mainly on my plate is we talked about this before, is I got to start eating more vegetables, because normally I'll cook meat and potato or, meat and a starch, but I don't cook any vegetables. So I need to start doing that and have more of those and less of the other, which, because I'm having trouble like in the heat. I mean, like I walked from the car to the doctor's office. It was what? All told, maybe not even 100 yards. And the time I got in the car, I walked over, went through the door in there, and I'm getting there and I'm huffing and puffing like I'm dying. And I said, nah, this ain't right. I mean, I know I'm a big guy, but this is ridiculous. So, that's what I'm up to. Sorry, I was slightly off topic. Also, I'm eating, instead of, basically what we worked it out was I am boredom eating. Because I eat because I'm bored to death. Because I'm not working and I'm sitting here and I'm not getting out and about, and I moved here and I don't have many friends here or anything like that. So I'm starting to eat more. But instead of eating ice cream or candy or anything like that, or brownies or anything, I was in the store today. I bought a bunch of celery. I bought some apples. And for tonight, I even got some salad I'm having for dinner tonight. So there we go. See, I listened to you, New York. See, New York Outcast. I heard you the other day. Anyway,
Awesome.
Moving on. A blind shooter. What do you do for the summer heat when you're out there shooting?
Well, we only have indoor ranges here, and we get spoiled with air conditioner, so I don't got to worry about it.
Okay, that's right. But you can carry your gun out of the city now, though, can't you?
Yes, I can. And the only range I go to, it's owned by a buddy of mine, and that's also indoor. So again, I'm spoiled by HVAC.
And you complain about New York City,
Yeah, that's crap. I need to get him out my way.
We used to have we do have one outdoor range. New York Outcast might know about it, called Blue Mountain. I used to go there, but the ROs are just a bunch of jerks, so I stopped.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with it, but thankfully, from the sounds of it.
Yeah. All right. Squib, what do you do to stay cool at the range?
I don't really do anything to stay cool at the range. I like the heat, but I do keep a 2.5-gallon Ziploc bag with a clean towel in there, and that's for wiping sweat if I start to get sweat in my eyes. I do bring a spray can of sunblock, not the lotion, but the spray. And I do bring a spray can of Deep Woods Off, just in case bugs and sun on the back of your neck or whatnot. You don't want to come home with mosquito bites and sunburn because you spent 6 hours at the range having a good old time. Even though my range has restroom facilities and a water fountain and stuff, I don't bring water too often. When I bring the kids, I'll bring water. But when it's just me, I don't bring water because I don't want to stop for, restroom break or anything. I'll be fine till I get home. But getting the sweat in the eyes is probably the worst thing at the range.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, Jason Stewart, what about you?
Yeah, like Squib said, I always keep a clean towel with me and always bring, I do construction, so the heat doesn't really bother me. I always have a cooler with Gatorade, cold pop or something. But my range, like you said, you like the morning. My range isn't good in the morning because you're facing the sun. So my range is much better in the evening with the sun behind you. But we got shade, and there's a roof over the canopy over you and shelter, so you really don't have the sun too bad, and there's a lot of breeze. But really, if it's too hot, most of the time there's not many people around. I just take things slow, and I'll just sit there and enjoy the breeze and the weather and smoke a cigarette and stare at my targets and see what I've done so far. And I just calm things down and just relax while I'm there. I don't try to let the heat bother me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I can do things a lot slower, a lot calmer. Just try not to get all heated up and sweaty and stuff like that. Yeah. All right, guns and barbecue. What do you do down the range for the summer heat? Anything special?
Not a whole lot. I'm built like a polar bear. In the winter, it could be about 10 degrees out and I'm going outside in shorts, t-shirt, and barefoot, and I'm comfortable. So when it gets hot at all, I'm just miserable. It doesn't matter what I do. But fortunately, all the ranges around here normally have canopies built over them, so you got a bit of shade while you're shooting, which is nice. But yeah, other than taking some water with me, that's about it.
Yeah. Talking about that, I do. I mean, I wear shorts and t-shirt around the house all the time in the wintertime, and I'll go outside, you know, maybe have to retrieve something from the truck or take the trash out. I go out, you know, I'm in shorts and t-shirt while I'm out there, just wearing a pair of flip-flops on my feet, you know, because the cold doesn't bother me. So I think that's working in a refrigerator for 30-odd years. So
I'd recommend, if you are having issues with heat or it's bothering you, that you just, you know, you try to hydrate a little bit more. That will help. I mean, it doesn't fix the problem, but it does help, and does help with the sluggishness, you know, depression. There's a lot that it helps with staying hydrated. But the problem is most people grab a drink as they go to do something, but you need to like hydrate today for tomorrow. You know, and obviously you can kind of keep an eye on your urine and give you an idea, or your veins in your wrist or whatever. But it's, you know, be careful in a sense, Rick, too, because you don't want to go out there and end up passing out, come some type of heat casualty or something out there all by yourself, and then, you know, maybe wake up looking like a lobster. So definitely stay hydrated.
There's lots of good information out there that's available for recognizing the signs of heat exhaustion, heat cramps, and heat stroke. You know, guys like Outcast and me, we got that in basic, but that's something that, you know, you're not thinking about, especially when you're younger. When you're older, you might notice it a little bit sooner. But, you know, when you're younger, you're out there, you're having a good time, you're not thinking, and you're not putting down the fluids properly. There's, you know, you don't want to just gulp the water, or like you saying, have the water before you go there, and it also depends. Like in his situation, he's out in the woods, and like you're saying, he's got to trek back. I don't know how far it is for you to go from the shooting station to your truck, then your truck to the gate, then lock the gate, and then drive to home or the nearest place where you could get fluids. So it's something to keep in mind, right?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I was taking down a swig of coffee. Thankfully, I don't have a gate, and depending where I want to go, there's a couple areas that I can shoot. The one I've been at lately, I can pretty much drive within 200 yards of it or so. So, which is pretty close, a lot closer than a few other spots I've gone to. But again, this one's kind of hidden a little bit, so I'm trying to keep my area separate so I don't have to come clean it up every time I show up. So I don't know if you caught any of my old videos there about the issues over there with the trash at the main place people shoot, but I cleaned it up and it looks worse than it ever has. Now they're littered trash all up the sides of the road where they just throw beer bottles out, shoot them in the grass. And honestly, it upsets me. I'd like to go, well, we're on air, but I'm not, it doesn't make me happy.
All right, I'm typing in the chat here.
Something else to consider is if you are going out where you can shoot out in the on state land or something like that, is if heat is a concern, make sure the air conditioning works in your vehicle. You can get in that vehicle, start it up, get it running, open the windows, fire up the air, blast all the hot air out, start getting cooler air in there. You're going to cool yourself from the outside in, not the inside out. Well, yeah. Depends on your train of thought on this. You want to bring in fluids, but the air conditioning isn't necessarily going to solve it, but it could really help. It could help a lot, depending. I wouldn't say get yourself to the point where you have heat exhaustion and then turn on the air and say I'll be fine. You should probably still, get checked out depending on your health condition. But let's say you're out there and you're getting warm and you go sit in your car, you turn on the air, you drink some water slowly, you cool off, then you go back out for a while, then you come back, back and forth. That's more, I guess, what I was talking about.
Yeah. Well, actually, normally what I'll do before I finish, I even do this like today when I was I went to Walmart this morning, so I didn't do it. But when I went on Friday, time I got out of there, it was around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I have one of those electric starters that most people have for the wintertime. I'll use mine in the summertime too. I'll have my AC set on to go on, and I'll start my truck up for the time I get to my truck. It's nice and cool inside. And I do that at the range too in the summertime. I'll start my truck up while I'm loading my stuff in the bed of the truck for my cab. It's nice and cool for me from when I sit in there. I'm organized. I think I am anyway.
My truck knows if it's hot out, and it'll turn the air conditioning on when I hit the remote start. And it knows if it's cold out, and it'll turn on the defroster and the heat and the seat warmer if it's cold out. I've never had a vehicle that does that, so I'm already becoming spoiled.
Yeah, I mean,
spoiled the word.
So
I'm waiting for the thing to start rubbing my back, you know.
So your truck has a sensor to tell what the temperature is and what to do. Okay. I mean, mine's got a bit like in the wintertime, you know, when I'm driving truck, I come home. If I have to make sure the heater in the wintertime is set for when I start it up in the morning that it's going to heat the truck up. Same with the AC, you know. If I don't set it up, I can hit the starter. Nothing's going to happen if I got it switched off, you know. So
my body doesn't regulate the temperature anymore. So if I'm out there for about 4 hours, I'll get up to 100 or 101 degree. And it takes a while to cool down. A lot of cold water. My seats have an air conditioner in the seat, but it takes a while to get back to normal.
Yeah, I saw that video of yours the other day. That's a cool wheelchair type thing you have there, going through your walk in the woods.
Yeah, it's got a motor per wheel. It'll get up and go.
Yeah,
kind of like all-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's all-wheel drive.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is that one of those track chairs?
No, it's called a Magic Extreme X8. It's from Australia.
Okay, so if a motor fails, does it just go into neutral and the other motors just drag it, or?
No, all 4 motors are going all 4 all the time.
Yeah, but I'm saying if one of the 4 stops, does it just spin free?
Yeah, like. When you'll see on the video where I'm hitting some stumps, and it takes a little bit of maneuvering to get over a big rut or a stump or something. But
okay.
So it's got some kind of intelligence or something that disengages or knows when to engage them all. But but you can hear it going, hitting the root where some wheels are spinning.
I want to go over obstacles with that. If you got a TriStar arrangement, they're very rare. I've only seen 2 things ever with it's actually 3 wheels on a pivot, and it's got a cam, and when it hits an obstacle, it rotates the mechanism, and it actually just rotates right over the top of it. Boulder, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, it just goes to the next and moves right on. So even if it just keeps rotating, it'll go over. It's kind of difficult to manufacture, so that's why I've only ever seen 2 of them. But
I've seen that going upstairs, right?
No, it's actually the Army developed it for an artillery piece that they wanted to bring through any sort of terrain, and then Dean Jeffries put it on a vehicle for a movie. He used the Army design. Other than that, I haven't seen it anywhere else.
Rick, you need to get one of those wheelchairs and go down the stairs.
No, I'm talking about something that it drives like a normal. It's 3 wheels in a triangle shape. So you got 2 on the ground and 1 in the air. And if that bottom front wheel hits an obstacle, it rotates the whole mechanism like a star. It spins like a star, and it rotates right over the top of it. So
yeah, that's what. There's a wheelchair that does that. When it hits an obstacle, the tires stop spinning, but they spin to the next wheel, like you're talking about.
There's some hand carts like that as well for very heavy items that'll manually go upstairs and things like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Expensive, but
worth
its weight in gold, I'm sure.
All the gears in it.
If you go to Wield and Weld arm and watch the video, you can see the chair he's using. It's quite cool, really.
That's what I'm saying, Rick. You need to get it for the next NRA convention so you can go down the stairs even more badass.
Oh, yeah, than what I did last time. Yeah. Shot right off that stairs. I'm quite surprised that thing still didn't break, you know? Still amazes me. Yeah.
See, most of the regular cartwheels, individual motors, if one goes, you're pretty much stuck, and they're quite pricey to replace.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of people call the manufacturer. You might have a warranty. If not, even the service guy coming out is quite expensive to deal with it. They do sell aftermarkets, but you got to kind of search around and be precise, and you kind of save quite a bit of money. And they're not too difficult to change if you have anybody that can work on a lawnmower or something like that. So
yeah.
And obviously, you guys probably know, if you're not using them often, charge them and try to drain them. I mean, even if you got to like rig the button, stick a block of wood or something under it, just let them drain, because those batteries have to be used to be maintained.
Yeah, talking about that, that's what I need to do with mine, because I haven't used it for a while.
Yeah.
But, well, I mean, at the 2019 NRA convention, I was leaving. I got through the doors and I come flying out, and I didn't see the concrete step, so I went flying off it like the General Lee. You know.
Yeah, I made the mistake of putting it on the charger for 2 weeks, and it just completely killed the battery.
It's a shame, because the batteries aren't cheap, and usually you'll have one for each wheel.
It's got two.
Your all-wheel drive one there, that would scare the crap out of me, boy.
Yeah, it's got 2 full-size car batteries.
Yeah.
Now, I do believe there's chargers you can buy to plug your charger in for that, and it'll draw power, and then it pulls it back from the battery and then cycles back through it. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's supposed to cycle for you, but you're paying another $100 something on top of what you got. So
I got a question for you, Wield and well armed. That chair you were using. Now, because I know before you said you have one. Normally, you have a lightweight wheelchair that you can lift into your vehicle in your front seat there with you or whatever when you get in and out.
Right.
So, do you have how do you deal with that one? Do you have a special converter?
No, I got the trailer hitch. I looked at buying a trailer or a gate that would sit on the back of my SUV.
Yeah.
And the SUV is big enough to hold it, but that chair weighs 350 pounds. And it's just a lot to put on that tongue of the trailer. I mean, it's rated to hold 500, but the trailer weighs another 50 pounds, and then you're at 400 pounds. I just don't want to lose that chair, so I just drive through the neighborhood and get to the nature center. So I haven't really. Only place I go is that same nature center, or around the neighborhood, or to the baseball fields.
That's how I move my my scooter. I got one of those trailer hitches. It says it takes up to 500 pounds. I mean, my scooter doesn't even weigh that much. My scooter is one of those that breaks down into about, if I wanted to, could break it down into about 4 pieces and throw it in the trunk of a car. But I just run it up onto the trailer hitch thing I have.
This has got a vertical lift, a scissors lift. They'll take me up an extra foot tall, which is pretty neat, but adds to the weight. And then it's got the tilt. When you're going down a hill, you tilt it way back, so you don't fall forward. And your weight is on the back. You'll see when I'm going halfway through that video where the music is. When I'm start going down the hill, I'm tilted back.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that when I was watching y'all. I said, man, you got to make sure you don't tip forward too far. But then if that seat's taking you back, I can understand. That's pretty cool.
So what you're doing is you're changing your center of gravity for stability, right?
Yeah. You'll see, there's a point where I've got my 9-year-old son. It doesn't take much, but it doesn't take much to flip over either. I can throw my weight around, but when you're going forward, you need to be tilted back. It's not really a natural feeling to rock yourself in the rocking where you can't even see the ground, and then go down a hill.
Yeah, I'm watching you right now. You're speeding along. Somebody needs to be chasing you with red and blue lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do have boom cranes that you can fasten in the rear end of an SUV or minivan. They kind of extend, and you hook it up, runs through power off the vehicle, and basically you just there's a little clip thing that attaches to your scooter that you can pop basically stand next to your vehicle or whatever. Or you being completely paraplegic probably wouldn't be helpful for you, but for Rick or anybody else out there that is still somewhat mobile, you basically clip it up. It has a remote that's hooked to a cord. Hit the button, it lifts it right up. You push the thing in, and it'll automatically kind of go in, and all you do is just guide it in the back and close your gate, basically let it sit down to the floor when you get where you're going. Obviously the opposite as well. And they will lift very, very heavy carts. So I think you can actually get those lifts to run up to like 1,000 pounds. So
like a cherry picker.
Basically, yep, almost like the same thing you may have seen somewhere in the back of somebody's pickup truck or whatever to move heavy items. But it's
yeah, I've seen them on the back of a truck.
Yeah, they're a little more, industrial looking, the ones for handicap accessibility. But there's a lot of companies out there where you can, just give them the specs, and they'll be able to gauge the height of your vehicle and the boom, set you right up. So it's just an option out there as well for people.
I went for the manual one that had a ramp comes down on it. Because I'm a cheap ass, Plus, I'm lucky enough that I can still walk a little. I can still walk a little bit, so I drive mine up the ramp onto the back of my tail thing. My tail, whatever you call it. The word's gone out of my head now that I put it onto.
Another idea. I don't know if you got your little trailer hitch ramp thing from like Harbor Freight or something like that, but if you if it is kind of flimsy, you probably could take it over to any kind of fabrication shop, and I'm sure they could weld up some bracing to it to stiffen it up.
No, mine's pretty mine works pretty good.
Okay. I'm meaning the other guy here, wielded warrior. Sorry,
wielded and well armed.
Wheeled and well armed, yeah. Because his sounds like it's real close to the limit, but as it seems like he's aware of, when you get close to the limit, I don't know if you've seen people driving, but those things swing around and then they start getting sloppy and it rocks back and forth a little. And
I strapped mine down.
Could definitely, for probably $30 worth of steel, you can get somebody to do some bracing that would stiffen it up quite a bit.
Once I put
something else has happened to it recently is before I used to be able to drive it without being in it, so I could have, ridden it up a ramp. But now it won't. I can't ride it unless there's some kind of sensor that's detects that I'm not in the chair. I'm sure I could turn it off somehow. But
it detects the angle that you're at, so you don't flip?
No, it doesn't. It's pretty hardcore. It'll go up about any hill you got.
Okay, all right. Because they have sensors like that on articulated booms, where if you try to move it in such a way that you're going to tip the basket and you're going to fall 60 feet to your death, it'll start beeping, and it will limit you so that you can't. Even though you could physically move it, it's going to override the controls, so you can't move. When you're at a certain height or at a certain angle, you bring it down lower, or it's more stable. Then you can.
That's a pain to move a boom on unlevel ground around a building or something.
Yeah,
all day.
Yeah, right.
I was just wondering if your chair might have an inclinometer or something like that.
No, it just on flat, it won't move at all without me on the cushion.
If there's some type of seat belt due to the different terrain and it leaning forward and back, there may be a switch involved in that too. So a lot of machinery, it has to be clicked in to run. But yeah, there might be a pressure switch. If it did it before and doesn't do it now, there's probably something going on that you can program. You might accidentally hit something.
Well,
So
you might
Exposed
have,
all the time.
you might have to do something that most men don't like to do. You might have to read the instruction manual.
yep,
Yeah.
it's good to do it once, at least when nobody's around.
Yeah.
No way. Go commando.
Yeah. So anyway, so we figured out how everybody handles the heat out there. So that's good. You guys got anything you want to talk about? You don't all yell at once. But if not, we can carry on. I mean, I got
got a question for Squib.
Yeah, go for
it. But he was on a show the other night there, and there was a lot of comments about his mood. Something going on, Squib? Did you go to a little men's spa or something, get a massage?
A sweat
For some
lodge?
reason you're highly relaxed the other night?
No, I actually got my headset to work with my desktop. I'm at home
Okay.
on my desktop, and I don't have 16 injection molding machines in the background, plus 2 crazy forklift drivers, and a bunch of material grinders, and a dryer, and air compressors, and a chiller, and everything else in the factory that makes that sort of noise. Plus, I don't have one earbud in one ear and another earbud, dangling, so that I can hear if somebody calls my name or something, but I can still sort of hear you guys. With these headphones on, I can actually hear you guys. You don't sound like you're 100 miles away, and it's kind of nice. It really. When I go back to the factory, I'll go back to the one earbud in and yelling and screaming, and you guys will hear a machine. When I listen to the playback, it sounds like 3-4 times louder than what it does in real life. It's weird how the mic, no matter what you use, it'll pick up everything in the background.
There's definitely a difference, because normally it seems like you're 30 feet down a hallway screaming at us with an attitude while somebody's stepping on your foot or something.
No. That's, well, I mean, in general,
seem quite relaxed lately.
No, in general, I talk loud. I've always talked loud my whole life, and I don't hear very well. But when I've got one earbud in, you guys sound so far away, and it's that typical nature to yell to. Not only that, I'm trying to talk over the machines or whatnot. I mean, on occasion I'm in my truck, but my ears are still ringing, and I haven't been at the factory for 2.5 months. My tinnitus is really down, and so yeah, I don't have to talk loud. But if you ever meet me in person, I do tend to talk loud. If I'm not amped up on caffeine, it's just the way I am because I have trouble hearing.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, if you haven't seen it, you need to, with Squib's last couple of videos, you need to pass them and share them on, because I'm becoming famous. I don't know if you watched his last couple with me at the end. Yeah. They're doing away with handshakes. They're doing the elbow thing. Fuck you.
I've gotten quite a few comments on that, and I'd like to thank Night Strike for sending me the soundbite there. He sent me the drop of you saying that, and I actually had 2 videos in the studio that were unlisted, and I went back and I pulled them down and I redid them so I could put you in there. And I said, from now on, with the whole $, it's not about you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put your voice over the top of it. So
yeah, it's gonna make me famous. So, all right, now totally off subject with shooting with disabilities, but I mean, just totally off subject. But what in the hell is this? Taking the shotgun away from Elmer Fudd? It won't be Elmer Fudd, will it?
Well, it's because they don't want little Timmy or little Sarah being shown that guns are okay to use.
Yeah, it's all programming.
But they're taking cops off the air.
Yeah, they took cops off last night.
Yeah, they're taking off that, was it Live PD or whatever it's called? That new show that's been going for season or 2, I think.
Well, no, Live PD is still scheduled to be on. It's in limbo, though, since they took cops off the air. I'm not sure if they're going to take Live PD, too.
No, it was meant to run this past weekend, but they didn't run it, because of what's going on. But so, I mean, what I'm saying is, it's getting ridiculous.
Have y'all noticed how they stopped putting gun magazines in stores? Like, you can't find gun magazines in the airport at all.
You know,
The only place I've seen a gun magazine is in the local smoke shop run by Muslims, which is weird.
I saw, actually, talking about gun magazines, I saw one when I went to the diabetic dietitian's office. Guns and ammo sitting right there on the table to pick up to read while you're in the waiting room. I was quite amazed.
Yeah, I had heard that Walmart had pulled them. And I went into Walmart and they weren't there. So I decided to go to local Myers, which is better than Walmart, and they didn't have them either. And then I went back 2 months later and they both had them. So I don't know if it was a feel-good thing to kind of say, we're going to pull them off the shelf every time they, shoot holes in defenseless little kids, or if it was, I don't know. I don't know what was going on, but they came back at the stores here. So
Does Walmart still have the ammunition taken off the shelves? Because I know for a while that was a big thing.
Oh yeah, Walmart doesn't even have any guns, because here in Indiana, Walmart sells long guns. Not one on the shelf. They're all locked up in the back. If you want one, they'll go get it for you. But there's none on display in case they get looted.
Well, they stopped selling handgun ammo a year ago now, completely.
Yeah, ours is completely out. Our one is completely out of handgun ammo now. It's only got like 30-06 and 30-30 kind of ammo. But anyway, back into our Elmer Fudd story. They might as well not even show it. I mean, that's disrespect. It really is. I mean, not even Elmer Fudd. They've pulled out of their rotation, Gone with the Wind. Come on.
Yeah, it is kind of crappy in a way.
Now,
it's not just that. It's a lot of these statues. There's a lot of different things, and some of these people may have had things that aren't popular now, even against race or whatever. But I think to erase history is foolish. You can try to erase it all you want, but all you do is doom yourself to repeat it. So I don't understand why things are.
You erase history.
Yeah.
Okay, but doing something like Gone with the Wind, let's look at, I can't remember her name, I think it was Hattie or Maddie or something, the actress that played Mammy. They interviewed her, and they said, how can you portray a black housekeeper maid, and by the way, I think she won an Academy Award for that back in the 30s, right? And she said, I'd rather get paid $700 to act like a maid filming a movie than make $700 in a year as a maid. She stood up. She was a shining example of saying, I'm not a victim. Don't make me a victim. Don't use me as a toy and a tool for your agenda. Yeah. I volunteered to be in this movie. I'm glad I was successful because of it. I did my job. I portrayed a black woman who, in the 1860s. I was an actress doing the job and I got paid for it. So what's the problem here? But yet they wanted to even back then, they wanted to make a big deal out of it. Yeah. So if more people could just look past that and go, this is a movie, people. This isn't something about, we're dragging people back or we're doing, this is a part of American history. Like it or not, it just is. If you look at the movie for what it is, though, it's a really good movie.
It's the same with Song of the South, Uncle Remus. That's a Disney movie. In the world, it still sells like crazy over in Asia, and Disney sells it in Asia, but they won't sell it in Western Europe or North America.
Yeah. Well, I mean, where I was going with this is, yes, she was the first black female to win an Academy Award for that movie. Now, I didn't know this. Now, I'm not over keen on her politics, but what's her name? Whoopi Goldberg or whatever her name is. She actually came out and said it's damn stupid to take Gone with the Wind down. She was saying the same thing. It was made at a particular period in time. It was about a certain area, and she used that same thing. You erase history, you're going to repeat yourself. But I didn't know. I mean, she was the second black woman to ever win an Academy Award. So there was a long gap between black women winning an Academy Award. You know.
Yeah. Well, Rosa Parks wasn't the first black woman to stand up and say, "I'm not sitting in the back of the bus." She was the third. The first two had felonies, so they didn't want to use them because if it got out that they had felonies, it would embarrass the cause. But the whole thing is, if you're going to do that, if you're going to get rid of Gone with the Wind, then you better get rid of that Harriet Tubman movie that they I don't know if it was supposed to come out or it got delayed because of COVID or whatever, where they embellish her life. You better get rid of that because it's the same kind of movie.
Yeah. Well, they better get rid of
I didn't know that.
I mean, doesn't even Huckleberry Finn have something in there too like that? You know, what I'm saying is, what are they going to do? Are they going to cancel that TV show Blue Bloods? I don't watch it because it's a cop show now.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to get rid of every cop show.
Yeah, yeah. So NCIS will be gone.
Law and Order.
You know, it's stupid. It's asinine is what it is.
Here's the thing. You've got to look at, in life, there's good and bad. You can look at the bad for what it is or what it was and dwell on it, or you can move past it, grow from it, and you can glean the good out of it. Lots of good things have come out of bad things. But the negative, and this sounds terrible coming from me because I'm such a pessimist, the negative people that want to dwell in it can't see that. They also can't put themselves in the shoes of people 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 200 years ago. I understand by today's standards, by today's education, by today's technology, it was wrong. It was bad, blah, blah, blah. But back then it wasn't. That doesn't mean I'm justifying it. I'm saying I don't have a time machine. I can't go back in time and change people. We need to understand where we came from, or like what Rob was saying, we're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
Well, that's how like there's I forget what the channel was, but the kid had to be no more than about maybe 18, 19 years old. And he was a white kid. And he made the video saying, this is our history. Learn from it because we're doomed to repeat it. Yet at the same time, I have never owned a slave. My father, my mother never owned a slave. Why should we apologize for something that others did? It does not make any freaking sense.
Yeah, but
I can say I personally don't blame anybody nowadays. So some people may still have wealth from different things, but that's a different story in a sense. But I don't run around looking at everybody wondering if they're a suspect that held somebody down.
Yeah, I mean,
we're past that. We could be past that. If you want to stay in a victim mentality, then you're just holding yourself down. What's the point?
Like right now. I'm not even. I don't even when I'm talking to people. Your race, your color, your religion don't even come into my thinking. But I guess I'm different. So I don't know.
Well, we had some stuff years ago where everything was offensive. And we started to see old TV shows get taken down, or they were only on certain paid networks or whatever. And we started to see certain things get censored. I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that they got rid of the old Coyote and Roadrunner movies and the Tom and Jerry movies because they're dropping anvils on each other and hitting each other in the face with skillets and stuff like that. And they're afraid kids would actually try to do that. I grew up watching that stuff. I never hit my brother in the face with a skillet.
Yeah, I know.
We thought
Grand Theft Auto isn't much better.
And see, there you go. But see, that's the shit. Grand Theft Auto is okay, but Tom and Jerry isn't. Some of how
they idolize girls as a sex object nowadays in pop culture and everything. I have an issue with half the clothes they sell, like the Walmart clothes for kids and stuff. Most of it's see-through. I've had a hard time shopping for girls that were appropriate clothes for my daughter instead of a date. It's a total different. What's acceptable now is crazy. At a school function, people were hollering and hooting with these girls shaking their butts and twerking and everything at the high school. And I swear it was like a dang, ship full of sailors or something. It was amazing. and these are like their kids, and it's all fun, and ass cheeks hanging out and everything. I'm just thinking, this is crazy. Like, this is straight crazy.
That's okay.
Like, I was getting mad. But
well, that's okay, but you can still carrying your firearm to that school to protect everybody is criminal. And maybe that's where the whole Yosemite Sam thing or Elmer Fudd thing is, this is evil. But this other thing, this isn't. But then in 20 years when we have a problem from this other thing, it'll be evil, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I was watching I was reading an article. As you know, in Virginia, the governor said they're going to take down the statue of General Lee, right? A lawyer has filed a lawsuit against him because in 1890, when that was put up, there was something stipulated in the thing about it that it cannot ever be removed.
Okay, here's something about General Lee. General Lee was Robert E. Lee was a wealthy landowner in Northern Virginia, and he had slaves. But had the Confederacy won the war, a lot of historians agree that he might have been elected to the presidency because Jefferson Davis can only serve one term. And Robert E. Lee would have been the figure that probably could have peacefully ended slavery in the South and integrated everything, worked to integrate it, whereas instead of having something where there's violence and people losing their fortune and all these other negative things that have lasted into the 1980s, 1990s. So he's not this evil person people think he is. He's not exactly the best general. He made a couple screw ups, but he's not this evil. I guess it's just a matter of perspective.
Well, anyway, guys, we're almost out of time. I know we're way off topic and everything else, but now we're on this. I got a personal question to ask you, New York Outcast, if I may. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. I want to know what's your feelings on the so-called Confederate flag.
Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't muted, so sorry for the hose noise.
That's all right.
The typical spray my driveway down thing. So, let's see. The Confederate flag. I personally didn't really see any issue. I know, apparently that's probably offending somebody out there, but I personally didn't see any issue. I love Dukes of Hazzard. Like, I don't know if it was racist. I didn't know it as a kid. I mean, Daisy Duke, who didn't like her? Cars jumping, all the dust kicking up. How do you not like it? In my opinion, I don't know.
Well, man, like Biden said, you ain't black.
Maybe. He wouldn't be the first, but personally, I don't see any issue. I've dealt with a guy that worked on a transmission for me when I rolled up to this place out in the middle of the woods in PA. It did not look friendly. Guy had a big flag standing up there. Guy was very nice, professional, treated me well, actually gave me the best deal I've ever had, and provided an extra pan and some other parts for free. So, and did a heck of a job right then and there, no problem. Everything was good. So, I mean, personal experience, that's pretty much it. Other than having some friends whose parents had it, but they allowed me over to their house, which is dating more than some people that didn't fly a flag like that. So, and obviously I wasn't there to just do hard labor or something. So
yeah, I
was treated decently, invited places or whatever. So I personally don't relate it in any way. I don't know. I think when it comes to flags and things like that, a lot of people have different meanings for things. I mean, even with the American flag or the Gadsden flag, or they have different representations to the individual. I think the American flag has a purpose and meaning, but some people add their own flavor to everything. So.
Yeah. Can you see the chat? Or are you on your phone? There.
No, I'm on my phone. I'm not sure. There's probably some racist pricks out there that use that as a symbol. But,
Midnight Raid gone. Wait a minute! Bunch of exclamation marks. Rob's black. Bunch of question marks. Shit! I got to stop sending that guy's links.
Yeah, it's midnight.
Yeah, you just blacklisted yourself. Oh,
no. Nothing new. Hence the
now,
name.
here's the thing. I've heard some people say it's a symbol of oppression. They're ignorant Yankees. They didn't grow up down south. For some people, it's a symbol of Southern pride. It's not about slavery or anything else. It's about growing up down south. It's about the different mannerisms there. It's a different lifestyle. And to some extent, it is about the Confederacy telling the Union, you're not going to tell us how to live. If there hadn't been a war and there had been two countries divided all the way down this nation, we'd still have two strong nations. We'd still have two wealthy nations, but we'd have two trains of thought. And I believe that slavery would have ended peacefully, and there wouldn't have been this civil rights movement for decades and decades and decades afterward, because it would have been a welcome thing if it had been allowed to happen peacefully, gradually, and millions of people wouldn't have died. You know, on the other hand, there were some things that were gleaned out of the Civil War, not just the ending of slavery, but other things that came out of the Civil War that were beneficial to our country. But the thing is, though, you have people that grew up in one area and were told one thing. I remember reading the history books in school in Georgia, and they said, we're the bad guys. The Confederates are the bad guys. But yet I was raised that they weren't the bad guys, you know, but the books, even though we go to public school and the books say, so it's a matter of perspective. So when you tell somebody we're going to shit on your heritage, they're going to react kind of, and don't get me wrong, I don't back the Ku Klux Klan. I don't back neo-Nazis. I don't back anybody who perverts that symbol. But even though I live in Michigan, I'm a good old boy from down south. And I don't look at it as a symbol of oppression. But if you didn't grow up that way, you weren't around that when you were a kid, you might misinterpret it. If you read the history books and the way they're slanted, you might misinterpret it. But really, it's not something to divide this country. It's a part of this country. Just like the Gadsden flag is a part of this country. And when people start embracing that and going, okay, can't go back in time and change it. We don't have any of this division. We don't have this animosity that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, I agree. But really also, I know they call it the Confederate flag, but wasn't it actually the flag of the Army of Virginia?
So the flag that they usually complain about is the battle flag. There's actually the Confederate flag, which is different. There's the Bonnie Blue, which is the original flag. Each state had its own flag. And the different organizations, like the Confederate Navy had a different flag than the Confederate Army and that sort of thing. So there are different flags. And you could be flying a Bonnie Blue flag, and some, ignorant Yankee wouldn't even know what it looks like.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to go eat my salad. That's what I'm having tonight, guys. I'm having salad. I've got the lettuce. I got the tomatoes. Going to slice up some cucumber in it as well.
No cheese sandwich?
Not tonight.
Drowned it in dressing, are you?
So
it's good with macaroni and cheese.
Oh.
What are you doing for dressing?
Vinegar.
Vinegar?
Or lemon juice.
Not vinegar and oil. I'm just putting salt and pepper and vinegar.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Malt vinegar.
I'm just checking. So I see a lot of people, it's almost like ordering, 3 Whoppers and a Diet Coke. They'll eat a salad and dump half a bottle of ranch or something on it, and it looks like soup.
It's salad.
Don't do that. You ain't doing yourself any favors.
No, I'm not having no Welsh rabbit, 2 Live Moo. Not tonight. I'm not having any cheese tonight.
Okay, why did they call it Welsh rabbit if there's no rabbit in it?
I don't know. It's just a name
I know reason. It's because the Welsh would go out hunting, and when they didn't catch any rabbit, they would have that cheese on the bread.
There you go. There you go. The reason they couldn't get any rabbits is because they took away their shotguns. Elmer Fudd.
So if you throw rabbit on that with the cheese, is it still called Welsh rabbit?
No, that'd be a different meal.
Yes. So
That's just rabbit.
It'd be a wabbit sandwich.
yeah. Oh, talking about my diet and the doctor, because I got to cut back on the bread, right? I said, you're telling my British half of me to cut back on bread. That's sacrilege. You know what I'm saying? Because I was brought up that every meal there was a plate of bread and butter on the table. It's just the way I was brought up, the way it is. What you lacked, you filled up with bread and butter. So she said, well, if you're going to eat bread, she goes, at least eat 100% wheat bread. At least that would be better for you, than straightforward white bread. So,
oof. Yeah, it's better for you, but that stuff can be difficult to deal with. I like rye myself.
I bought myself, I don't know if it's going to do me any good or not, but I bought myself some seeded rye. I haven't had any of that in years.
Yeah, that's not bad.
There we go. That's what I'm having. Not tonight, but said I'm going to have my salad tonight with my malt vinegar and salt and pepper as my seasoning on there. So. And I got celery to eat as a snack. Got apples to eat as snacks to stay away from all the other stuff. So my diet's starting off good. I'm hoping it's going to last. So I want to say thank you all for being here. Let me go through the room here. We lost Blind Shooter. So a lot of times he has to go to work or do something. So anyway, New York Outcast, any shout outs or plugs?
No, just say take care of everybody. Try to be healthy. Do something good for your body now and then. And thanks for joining us.
All right. Willed and Weld Arms, any shout outs or plugs?
Yes, sir. I'll be taking the Spinks AT 3000 out to the range tomorrow and shooting that thing. Hadn't shot it in a while, and showing how that thing looks and shoots. So look out for that video coming out soon.
All right. Squib, any shout outs or plugs?
Right after this, you want me to release another video where you're doing the voiceover at the end, or save it for tomorrow?
You can release it. What are you doing? Another garden video? How's your garden coming along?
So last night we got the remnants of that tropical system to come through, and then today we got a real short windstorm and followed by a thunderstorm. So I thought I would wait until the morning and just see if it tore up anything in the garden. So maybe I'll shoot one in the morning and release it midday. I mean, it's nothing impressive. Stuff is growing, but some stuff gets halfway there and then it fails. So I could do that if you want.
No, I was just curious. I think people like your garden videos.
I get better at gardening every year, but still, where I'm at, I need more space. I need more sunlight. I need more. I'm confined to what I've got, so I try to make it work. Try to learn from my mistakes, but
you got to get back to what you tried. Was it last year or the year before? You need to dig up that side of that hill where the railroad tracks are.
Oh, I've got some stuff that's planted there, but whether or not it's going to grow, who knows? But
yeah. All right. Jason, any plugs or shout outs?
Good show tonight, Rick. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate talking to you.
No problem.
Enjoy your dinner and stay safe.
I will. Guns and barbecue. I know having a salad goes against everything you believe. Yeah.
Oh, no, believe it or not, I absolutely love salad and vegetables. And, well, here's one, if nobody's ever tried it. Take and get a good romaine lettuce, get a stalk of that, slice it in half, throw that on the smoker, let that get a good grill flavor to it. You can do that with your vegetables like your tomatoes, onion, whatever else you're putting on your salad. Get a nice grill taste to your salad even. So
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to talk to you. The lady, the dietitian yesterday, she mentioned getting some. I can't remember what she called it. It was like a barbecue rack to keep your vegetables on or something on the barbecue.
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Let's say, honestly, you could just get baking racks. I always tell people just look into baking racks because they're a lot easier to find if you go to the store or anything.
Yeah.
There's a couple barbecue pages online. Like I go to How to Barbecue Right, and they sell what they call pork racks or chicken racks. There's a couple I was looking at on Amazon recently. Those are nice just for when I'm doing like pork shoulders and I wanted to get that little bit of space between the grate and the meat itself. But yeah, say, like I said, you could probably go to Walmart, just get a baking rack, and it'd be just the same.
Oh, okay. All right. Appreciate it. Okay. We got everybody, right? So I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for showing up on this Wednesday night, and I appreciate it. And I'll be back on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern for another show. And said, if you got any topics or anything, my question for the quiz for Saturday, email me at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. The question was, the original question was, I wanted to know what weapon was issued to the British Home Guard. Where I'm going with this, it was invented by a U.S. Army colonel in 1911. But the American government wouldn't pick it up, so he took it over to Europe, and they started making it over there, and it was used by the British Army in World War I and World War II, but it was it was issued to the British Home Guard. I wanted to know what weapon it was, the name of it. So there we go. You email me at rickslife@gmail.com, or what did I say, rickslife@, or spottedrick@gmail.com. So there we go. Get that to me by lunchtime Eastern, Saturday, and you'll be in with the quiz. Okay, so I want to say thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. And as I said, I'll see you all there. I'm glad you're all stopping by. And it makes me good to keep this going. So, but I need topics. So send me topics, guys. So anyway, I will talk to you all. I'm talking to the audience out there to send me topics. So I will see you all on Saturday. So I'm going to say good night to everybody and goodbye, Sabrina.
Pay it forward.
All right. We're